What's up, Renegade Nation? Before we begin the video, I want to give a shout out to our most recent Patreon supporters and YouTube members. Goliath Burrito, Forbidden Fan 12, Steven Stanton, Kent9 Dave 69, Saturn Coon, Fishcake, Nicholas A. Montgomery, Tatcap, Johann Stenfeld, Anthony, Russell Kanai Ueker, Luis A. Sandoval, Samaran 1, Shane Lindroth, Firefox 2590, Crispy Bacon, D, Evo, Jasmine Taylor Studley, Scav King, Zombie, Stinging Shadow, Cursing Throne 92, Jacobus 92, Owen, The One Who Crawls, Cesar Valentine, Joshua Suzik, Travis Tennant, Malik, JPC2, Jacob W, Alex Cole, Joshua Wire, Malik Black, Kiki, and as always I want to give a shout out to our executive producers Bevan Brummett and Vincenzo. Thank you all very much for your support. If you want to become a YouTube member, click the join button which is down by the subscribe button down below, and if you wish to become a Patreon supporter, click the link in the description to find out more. We'll see you there. Oh, I got a new tool. Wait, is this a... Oh my gosh, dude, I can melt through metal now. Yay! Any upgrades available? Hello, hello. You know what? I got a full minute of blowtorch. So, the last ProRevenge video we did got demonetized. Congratulations! So
demonetized.
Yep, demonetized.
Oh
man.
My gosh!
I say, man, that thing right there. That's just
robbery.
That's just sad right there.
They
man.
thieved us while we was thieving, you know, because reaction videos are theft. It's lazy.
Yeah, truly lazy. You know, just like reading off stories on Reddit. And
just like not going to the bathroom, but going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
You get when I smell my drift.
I smell you drift. I really think you should wait.
No. What was the redneck fucking... You know how I like those truck driver memes? It's got the skulls and stuff on it. And it just says stupid shit. One of them was making fun of like the Patriots. And it said, born to shit, forced to wipe.
Damn. Damn.
I wipe my ass when I feel like it. Liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden he gets home, he's like, God dang it, man, how come I got so many freaking skid marks in my underwear?
No, my butt cheeks are chafed. Damn it, Obama.
Jesus. So, ProRevenge is a subreddit that people share revenge stories.
Oh, Lord.
Some of them are real, some of them are not. Some of them are retellings. Like, for instance, there was one, it was a verbatim retelling of the Steve Hofstetter revenge story that we... Yeah. Verbatim. Like, word for word.
Dude, some of the most fucked up ones that I know about that are true are mafia stories.
Oh.
Those are pretty...
Those are haggard, man.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I mean, the mafia don't fuck around. You know that.
No, I'm glad I'm not associated with anything like that, just simply because the fear of always knowing every room you walk into you may not walk out of.
That's
around your most close friends. Like I hope I know I can trust my life with you and some of my friends, you know, they know that to a point, and at that point you're always there. You're always at that point. It could be over money. It could be over disrespect. It could be somebody finds out about some drug shit, or they think you know about their drug shit, which is a death sentence for people in the mafia.
Yes, it is.
So, like, if they think that somehow I found out that you were doing drugs, then your people would take me out.
Yes.
You know, that kind of stuff, that revenge stuff is just unbelievable.
Oh, dude. I mean, I look back on on like old school revenge stories, like the Chicago, you know, St. Valentine's Day massacre and stuff like that. What literally ended the Irish mob's hold in Chicago alone, and then of course you had Al Capone and his vendettas that he had against people, and you had, dude, just so many like webs that had been chucked around due to revenge.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, there's several revenge stories in this area. That you have you seen what's the name of it? I forget the name of the movie now. It's got Shia LaBeouf and Tom Hardy. As the
yeah. Where they're
brothers,
down in
Franklin County.
South, the middle of, it's more western or eastern towards the coast. It's like the middle of Virginia, but down towards North Carolina, right at the border.
Well, it's actually in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains still. It's
but it's like 4 hours that way. Like Nichols something, Virginia or whatever. It's like in the middle.
Let's see.
Yeah, I thought it was like right here too, but it wasn't when I looked it up.
Can't remember the name of the damn movie, so
Lawless, that's it. Yeah.
So
was it Franklin County?
Franklin County.
Yeah, that's it.
So actually,
it's over towards more.
It's central. It's right by Roanoke.
Yeah, it's more. Well, Roanoke's more up a little bit, right?
That's it right there.
Yeah.
That's the city of Roanoke right there.
Right. So it's like, and North Carolina is right there below it.
Well, yeah, but that's still the Appalachian Mountains. Like right here, like this area right here, this is where the foothills end. Everything over here, like from here over, Virginia just wants to get rid of and wish it didn't exist.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
That's the whole thing. We're the outcasts in our own damn state.
Well, we're more like, West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee.
Oh, dude, we're deep.
Like,
we're deep in the mountains.
Swallowed up, and North Carolina.
Well,
but they're more towards the middle. Like, what's it? Martinsville is a speedway that they got out towards that way.
Yeah.
Towards the middle of Virginia.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's why the Bondurants did so well, was because Roanoke was literally right there.
Yes.
And all the gangsters had to do was show up there with the money, and then they came with their moonshine.
Well, it was going to Chicago. It was the Al Capone stuff were the
dude.
ones that the moonshiners were hooking up.
Yeah, and it was
gangsters.
Well, it was there, and then Johnson City. Johnson City was also a pretty good hub for moonshiners and everything.
And the cars back then, that's where the hot rods came in, because they were
souping
them up to outrun the law.
Souped up straight 6s and V8s, man.
And thus the Dukes of Hazzard stuff and all that.
And then NASCAR.
And NASCAR,
that's how
the
NASCAR
dirt tracks.
started, man. Dude, that's when NASCAR went from the dirt roads to the circular tracks. I know that's when, it got the most popular, but that's when it lost its soul, because
that's what everybody says.
NASCAR was like rally car.
Yeah.
NASCAR was more like rally car stuff. And I enjoy rally car stuff more than I do NASCAR. Because rally car, you gotta deal with gravel, you gotta deal with dirt, you gotta deal with asphalt, and you basically just are just at the whims of they're
nature. Drifting a lot.
Oh, dude, drifting. They're like going around corners hard. They're going through lake or creek beds and everything. Getting through the mud. Dude, it's hard stuff.
It's a reactionary science.
Yes, it is. Speaking of reaction, let's go ahead and get into this. So this is ProRevenge, the greatest revenge story of all time. We'll see about that.
Welcome to r/ProRevenge. Today we have my favorite Reddit story of all time. Now, it's so incredibly juicy, so evil and relentless and brutal that part of me thinks that it might be fake. And if it is fake, then nonetheless, this is still an incredibly entertaining story. But if it isn't fake, then oh my god, this is one of the most savage pro-revenge stories I have ever read in my life. This all happened to me a few years ago. I told a friend the story of my divorce and I was told to share. Started a few years ago. I thought we were happy. We were your usual suburban professional couple. Financially secure, healthy, good sex life, 2 kids, 14 female and 19 male at the time. I thought we had a healthy social life. We were going through one of your typical married couple rough patches. Both of us were working long hours, not spending enough time together. We were going through some developmental problems with my son, and tensions in the house were running a little high. I noticed that she was spending a lot more time on her phone texting with her girlfriends. I didn't think much of it. I started making a much more concerted effort to get out of work when I could, help around the house, and be more emotionally available. But over the course of a few weeks, the gulf just kept getting wider. I ended up accidentally finding some messages when I charged up an old iPad for my son to use. her Facebook Messenger was still logged in, and there were a lot of highly questionable messages with a guy from her hometown who I will call Jim Bob Cooter or
Where is that
JBC.
from? What's Jim Bob Cooter from?
Cooter's from fucking Dukes of Hazzard.
No.
But Jim Bob, I don't know.
God, that's from something.
Hold on.
I know
hold
that
on,
is
hold
from
on, hold on.
something.
Jim Bob Cooter. Let's see. Jim
What the
Bob Cooter.
I know that's from something.
Jim Bob Cooter Brown was Jim Bob Cooter was a professional football coach.
Okay, that's it.
He's from Tennessee. He's from Fayetteville,
That's
Tennessee.
it, dude.
And he was. Oh, he was a.
Was he a quarterback?
No. He was a. Shows here he was a coach at Tennessee, the Indianapolis Colts, and now he's the running backs coach for the. For the New York Jets. Oh boy, you are.
I know
in some
that guy.
Bad
I know that
shit.
guy.
Yeah, that name, Jim Bob Cooter.
Yeah.
For short. The messages weren't completely inappropriate, but I could tell there were quite a few missing based on the time and context of the messages. I made a mental note to keep an eye on this and went about trying to fix things up. The next day, after I took the day off to knock out some projects that I thought would make her happy and left her some sweet notes reminding her how much I appreciated her, she was once again in the corner of the living room texting her girlfriends. I took the boys' iPad to the office, opened up Facebook Messenger, and watched in real time as my wife tore me down. Her and Jim Bob were making fun of me. All of my flaws, insecurities, and secrets I entrusted to my partner were now fodder for her and Jim Bob. Not only that, but while there wasn't outright sexting, there was a sexual undertone to the whole conversation, especially when she was bashing my performance in the sack. I managed to take some screenshots, but missed a good bit of the messages because as the conversation was unfolding, she was deleting them. I wasn't emotionally capable of confronting her. I stayed in the office until she was asleep and had a couple drinks. I took the next day and spent some time soul searching, drinking, and trying to figure out what to do. The wife came home and wanted to know what was wrong, and I just copped out and told her I had a bad day. A couple of minutes later, I was watching the iPad as the train wreck kept unfolding. So began a couple solid weeks of taking screenshots, drinking, and detaching myself from the relationship. I knew there was no going back from this. The messages were now overtly sexual, and my wife completely into it, and Jim Bob was sprinkling in "I love yous." I consulted a lawyer and got my options and started moving forward. Here's where everything got absolutely surreal. Watching the messages, I found out Jim Bob was coming to town to spend a weekend of quality time with my wife in a pretty nice hotel. I was missing a good bit of the info. They must have had a phone conversation about it at some point, but I was able to infer enough to get the when and where. Sure as anything, the next day the wife is buttering me up and wanting to take a spa weekend with the girls to relax, and when she gets back we can really focus on our marriage. I go with it all the way. It's the greatest idea she's ever had, and I'll do anything to get us back on track. I get with the lawyer and have him draft a strong separation agreement stating that she would move out, she would get weekend visitation, no child support in the interim until divorce is final. Then I sit through the most agonizing 2 weeks of my life. After all this, most of my feelings for her are completely gone, and I'm just seething with anger like I've never felt before. D-Day arrives. I take a day off work.
That's the only thing that, for me, would make this unbelievable, because being in a relationship for that long and
Being married.
having children, and then you find this out, like, that doesn't, you don't just get over that after a couple weeks of seeing.
No.
It would, the anger is totally understandable, but that anger includes hurt, and that hurt includes you know, everything that we just talked about. So I don't see, I'm completely over it. Maybe I'm completely over the idea of ever being in a romantic relationship with this person again, but not completely over the loss. There's no way.
No.
Unless you're just a sociopath, and that's another story.
That's another thing.
But I that's the only thing that so far has made me question this. Everything else is really believable.
Yeah.
Withdraw half of any money in any accounts we are joint on. Leave her half alone. I had already redirected my paycheck to a new bank. I close our money market account and I get a cashier's check for her half and deposit my half in my new account. I stop at Office Max and print out about 75 pages of Facebook Messenger screenshots, and I kill time because I don't want to be at home. She texts me that she's taking off and that she loves me. I tell her to have fun. I show up at the hotel at about 8:30 and call the wife's phone from the lobby. It goes straight to voicemail. They are probably already at it. Whatever. I walk up to the front desk and ask if I can use the phone to be connected to Jim Bob's room. It rings 3 times and he picks up. Hello? Jim Bob, can you send my wife down to the lobby, please? I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Okay then, I guess I'll have to call Mrs. Jim Bob and get her down here. Totally a bluff. I knew he was married and I knew her first name, but that was it. Inaudible shuffling panic. You got 5 minutes. Click. Not even 2 minutes later, my wife comes walking out of the elevator looking a little flustered. I sit her down in the corner of the lobby. She starts spewing bull, saying it's not what it seems, etc., etc. I'm not here to argue. The things that are said in this pile of papers are what's going on. The only way I'm not giving a copy of this to daughter, your parents, and emailing it to everyone we know is if you move out immediately. Wife was very prideful. Daughter was going through a rebellious teen phase, and her knowing probably would have forever killed their relationship. Wife was also her parents' golden child, and she had always worried about what they thought of her. I didn't have much leverage, and shame was the only card to play. Also, her professional life is built up around her image, so I knew she would protect that at all costs. Her... This is a check for half of the money market account. I've withdrawn my half of the money from all other joint accounts. You should have more than enough to get a place. She starts to cry a little. I can almost see the different thoughts and waves of emotions going through her, but now is the time to keep pressing. Here is a separation agreement that I think is more than fair considering what's going on. I'm going to need you to look this over, sign it, and leave it at the house when you get your stuff. Do you want to look through these screenshots? No. Okay, go have fun with Jim Bob. Do not come back to the house, or I'm going to send this holding up reams of screenshots to everyone. I bounce out of the lobby and I can hear her start to have a breakdown. I get to the car, drive off to a parking lot, and have my own crying rage fit. Previously, I would have cried in front of her and yelled and whatnot, but I managed to get my stuff together enough to pull it off. I don't know what she did that night or over the weekend. She texted and called over and over wanting to talk. I just turned the phone off, and by the time Monday afternoon rolled around, there were movers getting her stuff and she delivered the agreement. I let her have a talk with the kiddos, basically saying mommy and daddy need some time apart, we still love you, etc., etc. Standard divorce talk. After a week, she wants to have a real talk for the first time. I oblige her because I've already...
I heard my parents say, it's like, we still love each other, you know, we just need some time apart. By the time...
I was 1. I've never heard anything other than, I exist.
I was 12 or 13 years old, between 12 and 13 years old, and here's the thing with me. My parents tried to get back together 3 times. 3 times they tried. By the end of the 3rd time, they were arguing again, and it's just like, at that point, I wanted them to get the divorce. I wanted it to just be over with, because I was sick and tired of coming home and hearing them yell at each other all the time.
Yeah.
And pretend like, oh, everything's going to be fine. You know, no, it's not. Stop pretending, guys.
Mine was just like a custody battle later on when I was like 12 and 13. They had 2 court cases, a custody battle.
Man.
So, yeah.
Already got my stuff together, and I've got an idea of what I want, but I should hear her out. She's so sorry. She wants another chance. She wants her family back. She'll do anything. She's on her knees crying into my lap. I have no intention of ever taking her back. I tell her she needs to set up marriage counseling on her own at a time that works for me. I tell her that I can't live with her, but she should be around the children to try and maintain a relationship with them. So starts our new normal of her coming over to the house, cooking and having dinner with the kids 3 nights a week. She always saved me a plate. I made myself scarce. Her cleaning the house and doing the kids' laundry, then heading back to her place. We went to counseling. It consisted of her working through her issues with the therapist, trying to figure out why she did it, her begging for forgiveness, and me stoically playing the victim. I was never going to give her another chance. All I wanted to do was kill time, establish myself as the primary caregiver to the kids, and establish her as not having residency in the house. After a few months, I go to my own therapist and get diagnosed with depression and PTSD. I asked my work if it's possible to go to part-time for the foreseeable future to deal with personal issues, and it's no big deal. After 6 months of therapy, I told her that I couldn't forgive her right now and that I wanted an amicable divorce. But she is still the love of my life, and maybe someday we could give it another try. She was devastated, but agreed to divorce if I promised to try again someday. Once the divorce was filed, I needed the kids to want to stay with me. I left a Google search for how to survive your wife's infidelity up on the shared PC at home, and I left some printed out infidelity articles not so hidden in the kitchen. My daughter found them and came to me crying. I told her she wasn't supposed to find those, that mom made a mistake, that mom still loves her, and that I would always be there for her.
That's fucked.
My daughter, who used to hold my wife in such high regard, now wouldn't talk to her without screaming, and it crushed her. Not surprisingly, when the court needed statements from the kids a few months later, little brother followed big sister's lead, and they both wanted to stay with dad in the house they grew up in. When the divorce was finalized, I got the house, had to buy out some of her equity, but that's okay. I got primary custody of the kids. I got awarded generous child support due to the difference in our incomes due to me working part-time. Now, the last 2 years I've gotten to live in the house with my kids, work part-time, get the now ex to subsidize it for me, and when she takes the kids over the weekend, I get to have my fun with Tinderellas and some friends with benefits I've cultivated. In the eyes of my kids, I'm the patron saint of fatherhood for taking the high road and always being there. In the eyes of my ex, I'm the one that got away that she will always pine for, and I get the bonus of having her come over for sex whenever I want by dangling that carrot of maybe getting back together. But that is never going to happen. This post is what would happen if the Joker got divorced.
Yes! That's heavy hardcore stuff.
No, Sherlock Holmes. That's a Sherlock Holmes move.
You think so?
That's one thing that also makes me doubt this. Dude, is this man a lawyer? Who is this? That was too cold and calculated. And how is this man going to maintain his faculties like that in the midst of all this shit?
I don't know.
I can't remember what comedian it was that said this, but it was like it might have been Jeff Foxworthy, I actually think, but he said something about if a girl's telling you she's thinking about hopping on or getting another horse to ride around on, she's probably already got the saddle picked out and fitted for it. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, and here's the thing.
She already had an exit strategy probably before she got in that position. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they usually do in those kind of situations.
And very rarely do women, go into anything without a backup plan.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, in this kind of infidelity situation, whoever it is that's screwing around has this feeling of this could go really bad for me and I need to be able to fucking pull the cord myself.
Oh yeah.
Because that's a selfish person to do that. So they're going to be self-interested. So they're not going to be able to go into that with some risk to themselves. You know what I'm saying? They want to, they may lose their family and relationship, but obviously that wasn't number one anyway.
No.
So they're going to have a backup plan for getting busted almost always.
Yeah, and I hate that infidelity is much more of the norm now. Like it's seen as though people are encouraged to cheat nowadays,
well, the idea
which is
crazy
to me.
Having one partner is kind of seen as a vanilla square thing to do, which is really weird.
And here's the thing. I'm not going to say... If a couple agrees to it, okay, all well and good, that's on them. But if you're in a solid relationship with someone, a solid relationship, you're working together, you're building each other's lives up, you're helping each other out,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden she just decides to get her fuck on with somebody else, and you're just like, wait, you got it all... Wait... Why did you do that? She's just like, well, I just felt like I should do it because, I thought, the older I'm getting, the less of a chance I'm going to get to do it when I'm older. And I'm like, but we're in a relationship. We've been working it. She's like, yeah, I know, but I just really felt like I needed to do it. And now that I've done it, I just don't want you to, I don't want to feel guilty for doing it. Can you forgive me for that? I'm like,
oh, I've never been about it.
I'm sorry. No. Like, if we'd have discussed this, and I'm not about the swinger lifestyle. I've never been about that. And you know, they say, I heard Kanye West said this, and it shows, and it's a big magnifying glass on just how ignorant he is. Love is cursed by monogamy. And I'm like, fuck you, dude. Love is cursed by monogamy? No, it's called being with someone whom you trust and whom you want to build something
But you don't
with.
have to have monogamy to have love. That's just part of, you know, a long-term relationship with, you know, some people, that's what they want. And if it's an agreement that you've gotten into, break up with that person and then do whatever the hell you want to.
Leave it behind.
Yeah,
don't.
It's not a curse. It's an agreement between people. It's something that you can end.
Yeah.
You can end relationships without being like you can not fuck up monogamy between you and another person as long as you end that agreement with them.
Yeah.
It's being a fucking liar that's the problem. That's the issue.
When
break up with somebody. If you want to go with somebody else and they're not okay with you going with somebody else, then break off that agreement.
Yeah, exactly. If you get wandering eyes for someone else and you feel like, oh, this relationship's run its course, don't string them along. Break it off. Tear the Band-Aid off. Get it over with.
But if it's not worth it to you to break it off, then you don't need that. Stay, that's the thing. I would love to just take a whole bag of M&Ms and fucking eat them right now. But that would be bad for me.
Yeah, it would be.
So even though my brain's like, ooh, M&Ms, those would be delicious. It's like, yeah, but what's the fucking price for that?
Yeah, exactly.
What would be even more delicious? Not fucking hurting someone that I love, ruining my relationship for them, disrespecting them. We have an agreement that we're in a relationship together that is like, I want that so much more than any primitive bone inside of my body would make me want anything.
Yeah.
It's just, some people can't control that.
Nope, they can't.
And don't want to.
No, and it's unfortunate, but...
Yeah.
But, all right, let's go ahead and get to the rest of this. Let's see what...
If Lex Luthor got divorced, this guy is an actual evil genius.
That's what I'm saying.
Mastermind. He didn't just win, he absolutely destroyed his cheating wife's life. Oh, that's painful. It's painful to listen to. Personally, I like to think that this story is true because I think that if it were fake, the guy probably would have said that he somehow owned or destroyed the guy that his wife was cheating on, right? I mean, if you're going to make this stuff up, you may as well go the full 9 yards and also destroy the cheating dude as well. But he didn't do anything to him, which kind of makes me think that this is a real story. And since I love ProRevenge stories so freaking much, we've got another one for you. Destroy my clothes, enjoy your time in jail.
Ooh.
So this happened when I was 14 or 15. My mother was married to a man who had an adult son from a previous marriage. I think he was mid-20s. He lived the hippie life, literally on the streets by choice, and about once a year or so, he would hitchhike his way to our house with his friends, do copious amounts of laundry and weed, and generally just take over as if it was their house. They even left the gas burners on once because they forgot they turned the stove on. Anyhow, like any teenage girl, I was obsessed with my clothes. I had laundry sitting in the dryer, including these awesome corduroy pants that I had only worn once. Stepbro and friends are doing laundry, and instead of doing something normal, like moving my stuff aside or putting it in my room, they decide, oh man, it would be so dope to cut these up and make like a sweet cape. So that's what they did. I saw Stepbro wearing this cape and recognized the material. Are those my pants? I exclaimed. They were in the laundry, man, like finders keepers. I was furious and his dad wouldn't do anything about it. My mom was pissed because she had just bought these for me and they were pricey. Mom didn't like this annual visit anyhow, but to keep her marriage, she put up with it. I wanted to get back at Stepbro, but he had nothing of value because of his lifestyle. Then I remembered I overheard my parents fighting, and my mom had mentioned a stepbro had got a girl pregnant, and the kid was like 2 years old, and he hadn't so much as given the girl a penny or even seen the child since it was born. So the next day, my parents were at work, stepbro is hanging out, listening to music or something. I decided to call the cops. I wasn't sure what to say, but I told the dispatcher I knew of someone who might have a warrant out for failure to pay child support. Now, before you say, how would a teenager know about that? Well, my birth father is a demon and was at one point nearly arrested for the same offense. The dispatcher asked the name of the person. I gleefully gave stepbro's name, and they confirmed there was, in fact, a warrant out for him. I gave my address and waited. 20 minutes later, cops roll up. They knock and I let them in and lead them right to him. He's right here, officers. I couldn't stop smiling. They caught him and take him off to jail. An hour later, my mom calls the house after stepbro had used his phone to call his dad, and I tell her exactly what I did. She whispered, "Good job," but then pretended to loudly reprimand me as she was with stepdad. Stepdad couldn't get the fine and bail money together fast enough, so stepbro had to sit in jail overnight. Still makes me happy 20 years later to remember seeing him being taken away in a cop car. My mom luckily divorced that asshole and is now married to a very nice man. Well, looks like it's pretty clear who wears the pants in this family.
God dang hippie.
Yeah. Who wears the pants as a cape?
Oh God. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I was in the laundry, so it's, free reign, man. It's like, it's just like that stupid excuse I've heard people give. It's just like, yeah, well, your stuff was just sitting there, so I took it, Yeah. It's like a good old Adam Atari taking my my PlayStation 3 and my Xbox 360 and my 2 cameras. The cameras I didn't get back, by the way. The consoles I did get back, but after I'd already gone and told like GameStop and all these other stores in the area, be on the lookout for these. These are the serial numbers right here. And I go up there, I'm like, yeah, has it been brought in or anything? He's like, nope, haven't seen anything coming through here. And I look, and I realized, because my Xbox was one of the original ones, and it had the broken thing on the bottom, and I'm like, that Xbox right there, who brought that in? He's like, oh man, that's been here for a while. And I'm like, get it out real quick. And I look, and I'm like, yeah, that's my Xbox. So it turns out the idiot behind the counter didn't even bother to make a note of it.
Of course not.
And then I'm just like, look, It's my Xbox. There's a police report out for it. If you want me to, I can call the police up here. He's like, no, man, no, here. And I'm like, thank you. And then walking out, I'm just like, I wonder how many other Xboxes and PlayStations that are in there that have been stolen from people.
Oh, people were coming over to the mountain from Kentucky and selling.
Hawking them and all that, hundreds of dollars.
Without a doubt.
Dude.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Guy quit his job thinking he became rich. Hey, new to Reddit, I thought I would post my story here. I work for a construction company and we do remodeling on homes. We have a rule here that we get to keep anything we find hidden behind the walls. We hired this guy, we really needed a worker badly, who was a total a-hole from day one. I've been working for this company for 5 years, and this guy has only been doing construction for 1 year after he got fired from his accounting job for getting a DUI. Anyways, he would make fun of my clothes and my accent, and one day he went too far by telling my boss about my private Instagram account pics. He got on my phone and looked through my Instagram page and showed my boss pictures of me smoking weed. Little did he know that my boss is my friend from 8 years when we used to smoke together before we quit. I was so mad that he violated my privacy that I made a plan to F him over. He was the kind of guy who would always come in late and complain that trains or traffic is why he was always late. One day, I overheard him saying that if he won the lottery, he would quit this job for not getting the respect he deserves.
What respect? You gotta give it to get it, motherfucker.
One day, I bought some fake gold coins online and put them in a metal box I found at the antique store and waited for a chance to hide it in a wall. Luckily, I didn't have to wait long. The day he found the coins, it seemed like it was his best day ever. First thing he did when he opened the box, he called my boss an effing loser and he quit immediately on the spot. He said, "F this place, I'm rich." Lol, little did he know was that was the best day of my life. After he quit, my boss told us that he was going to fire him anyways for always showing up late. I wish I could see the look on his face when he finds out the gold coins are fake. Best $40 I spent in my life. what makes the story better is it's actually illegal in a lot of places to sell counterfeit goods or to try to scam businesses. So I like to imagine this moron walking into some pawn store and all smug being like, I want to sell my gold, and then gets arrested or something because, I mean, it's a scam. You can't roll into a business and try and buy something with fake current.
That happened on Pawn Stars one time. Guy comes in with this statue that he was like, I'm 100% sure this thing's worth like $100,000. It's just like, if this thing were the original, you may have a point there, but this is a recasting. This was done within the last 100 years. You can actually see the maker's mark on the bottom, 1964. And the guy's like, no, it's real. And all of a sudden, they're just like, dude, I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, once you tell me you're going to give me my $100,000, he's like, I can tell you to find the door. And then the guy's like, I'm not leaving, man. You give me my money.
Damn.
And then big dude, like the security dude, okay, he's just like, okay, I asked you to leave. Now if you don't, he will make you. And then big dude walks over. He's just like, you got a problem here? And then he's just like, yeah, your boss is an asshole. And he like picks up the horse and walks out, and he's just like, all right. And the big dude was just like, I didn't want to at least get my hands dirty. Like,
yeah, for real.
I guarantee you they've had to whip some ass every now and again. Like some Bubba comes in, he's just like,
Yeah.
I got this signed Dale Earnhardt jersey or Dale Earnhardt suit.
Earnhardt jersey.
Dale
yeah.
Earnhardt suit from like 1984.
Back when he taught Larry Bird how to play.
Back when he taught Michael Jordan how to dunk a basketball.
That's right. It's all from Dale.
Yeah.
He
doesn't
was actually,
work.
Dale,
I would've
people
paid-
don't know that Michael Jordan was actually the first Dale Jr. That's why Dale Earnhardt was 3 and Michael Jordan was 2-3.
Exactly.
He was the second intimidator.
That's good. I like
Science.
that. I like that. That's
Paid
fucking
money
good.
to know what would happen to this guy
Oh,
after
shit.
he left the construction site. All right, that is r/ProRevenge.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the first story I can believe a bit, although the emotional stress like you were talking about, it would be a bit much.
To be that level-headed about it would be incredibly impressive. But you got somebody who's like a high-level lawyer, politician, somebody who's under that kind of stress on a daily basis. Sometimes even when stuff hits home heavy for them, they maintain the clear,
calm, cool, and collected. Yeah.
they find a result that they want, and then they work backwards and just make that shit happen. So to say it's impossible, no. Questionable, definitely.
Yeah, and
Inspirational, yes.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yes. I mean,
that's just
fake
like
shit is inspirational, you know.
it can be. Well,
007, I mean, you know, everything we like.
well, dude, Ayn Rand's, Atlas Shrugged. I mean, that's fiction, but yet people use that.
Rocky,
Oh God.
you know, so I'm down with it. I thought it was well
Every
written.
time someone mentions Rocky, it's just like, yeah, Rocky is one of my biggest inspirations. It's
Yeah.
just like,
Rocky
like,
Marciano, Rocky Marciano.
I go back to Eddie Murphy and his stand-up. He's like, so you see here, see that big dude over there? He's like, yeah, I see him. He's like, okay, he's about 6'5". I'm about 5'2". I'm gonna walk up. I'm gonna get all this stuff. I'm gonna make him pay for it. Watch this. And then he walks up. He's like, yeah, I want all those right there. I want some Starburst, some popcorn, and big dude here's gonna pay for it. Big dude's just like, excuse me? Just like leans down. He's like, oh, you just watched Rocky, didn't you? He's like, listen here, little.
Rocky.
He's like, listen here, little Italian man. That's a movie.
Yeah.
This real life. You try that, I'ma fuck you up. And he's like, shut up, I'll kick your ass. He's like, all right, whatever.
Out there watching Rocky, man.
Yeah, trying to get all just like, yeah, Rocky. All right, Rocco. All right, Sly. Sorry.
So it's a good story regardless.
It is. No,
True
I
or
love
fake.
Rocky,
I thought
dude.
that was good.
Well, no,
the
to me,
other two was, they're okay.
Yeah. Well, the most inspirational thing about Rocky though is like Sylvester Stallone, like him coming up from that.
You mean Thunder Lips? I'm just kidding.
No, I mean Kitty and the Stud. That was the porno film he started.
Oh no.
Yeah, Party at Kitty and the Studs.
Yeah.
He was the stud in Kitty and the Stud.
There you go.
Jesus Christ. What a
We
story.
need him. We need Jesus right now.
Yes, we do. All right, that's going to do it, everyone. This was r/ProRevenge, the greatest revenge story of all time. What did y'all think? Personally, I think it's a good story. I think it's a pretty interesting story. The first one was the best one by far. And like Chad said, the other two were all right. So, what did y'all think? Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully we will see you on the next one. But until then, I'm Nate.
I'm Chad.
We'll see you, everybody. Peace out.